A woman made a vow that destroyed her. She swore she would only marry the man who could outrun her in a footrace. Every suitor who lost would be executed on the spot. Dozens tried. Dozens died. She remained undefeated for years. Then a young man arrived, carrying 3 golden apples given to him by Aphrodite herself. He had no chance of winning fairly. But what if I told you this story isn't about the race at all? It's about a woman punished for refusing to be weak. Here's the version they teach in schools. Atalanta was the fastest mortal alive. She outran every hero in Greece without breaking a sweat. Her father had abandoned her as a baby because she wasn't a boy, left on a mountain to die from exposure or wild animals. A she-bear found the infant and raised her. Atalanta grew up in the wilderness, learning to hunt, to run, to survive completely alone. When hunters discovered her years later, she was already faster and more skilled than any man they had ever encountered in their lives. Atalanta joined the Argonauts on Jason's quest for the Golden Fleece. The only woman among 50 male heroes on that legendary ship, she participated in the Caledonian boar hunt, one of the most dangerous hunts in Greek mythology. A massive supernatural boar terrorizing an entire kingdom. Atalanta drew first blood on the boar. She was the one who wounded it fatally, not the male heroes who claimed all the glory. Her father, who had abandoned her to die, suddenly wanted her back when she became famous. He needed an heir now that she had proven herself worthy. He demanded she marry and produce sons to continue the family line. Atalanta refused. She had survived alone. She needed no man. Her father insisted. He had the legal authority to force her into marriage, according to Greek law. She had no power to simply refuse him outright. So Atalanta made a deal designed to protect herself forever. She would marry, but only the man who could defeat her in a footrace. Any suitor who challenged her and lost would be executed immediately. No exceptions. No second chances. Death for failure. Dozens of young men tried anyway. They were confident, arrogant, certain they could beat a woman, no matter how fast she supposedly was. Atalanta killed them all, one after another. She remained undefeated, unmarried, free. The pile of bodies grew higher every month. But then a young man named Hippomenes came to watch one of these races. He saw Atalanta run and fell instantly in love. Hippomenes had no illusions about his chances. He knew he was slower. He knew he would die if he challenged her under normal circumstances. So he went to Aphrodite, goddess of love, and begged for help. He offered prayers and sacrifices. He promised devotion if she would intervene. Aphrodite gave him 3 golden apples from her sacred garden. These weren't ordinary fruit. They were irresistible, enchanted, impossible to ignore. She told Hippomenes exactly what to do. During the race, throw 1 apple off to the side. Atalanta will stop to pick it up. Hippomenes challenged Atalanta to the race. She looked at him the same way she had looked at every other suitor who would soon be dead. The race began. Atalanta took the lead immediately. Hippomenes fell behind within seconds. He reached into his pouch and threw the first golden apple. It rolled off the track into the grass, glowing with divine light. Atalanta saw it and stopped running. She bent down and picked it up. This is where the story gets complicated. Did the apple's magic compel her? Or did she choose to stop because she wanted an excuse to lose? Hippomenes gained ground while she held the apple. She started running again. Within seconds, she was ahead of him once more, despite the delay. He threw the second apple. Again, she stopped. Again, she picked it up. Again, he gained precious seconds while she fell behind. She caught up to him effortlessly. Her speed hadn't diminished at all. She could still win this race easily if she wanted to. Hippomenes threw the third and final apple with the finish line in sight. Atalanta stopped one more time. She picked up the golden fruit slowly. Hippomenes crossed the finish line first, while Atalanta stood holding 3 golden apples. the most valuable things she had ever owned in her life. The crowd erupted. Hippomenes had won. By the rules Atalanta herself had set, she now had to marry him whether she wanted to or not. They were married. The wedding was celebrated across Greece. The undefeatable huntress had finally been caught. The unmarriageable woman was now someone's wife. For a brief time, they seemed happy together. Hippomenes had won his prize. Atalanta had escaped the endless races and the mounting body count behind her. But here's what the children's versions never tell you. Hippomenes forgot to thank Aphrodite for her help. He never made the sacrifices he had promised. Aphrodite was furious. Gods demand payment for their favors. The apples had been a loan, not a gift. Hippomenes owed her everything. She waited for the perfect moment to destroy them both. Revenge delayed is revenge amplified. She wanted them to feel safe first. One day, Hippomenes and Atalanta were traveling and stopped to rest near a sacred temple. They were alone. The temple was forbidden, holy ground. Aphrodite filled Hippomenes with overwhelming lust. He looked at Atalanta and could not control himself. They had sex inside the temple right there. Desecrating a sacred temple was one of the worst crimes possible in ancient Greek religion. The gods who owned that temple demanded immediate punishment. Zeus himself was offended by what they had done in his sacred space. He transformed them both into lions as permanent punishment for their sacrilege. But there was a detail that made this punishment even crueler. Ancient Greeks believed that lions could not mate with their own species. They thought lions could only reproduce by mating with leopards. So transforming Atalanta and Hippomenes into lions meant they could never touch each other again? The woman who had run faster than any man alive now had 4 legs but couldn't escape her punishment. The man who won through cheating lost everything anyway. They remained lions forever, side by side, but unable to consummate their marriage. Transformed for a crime, Aphrodite manipulated them into committing in the first place. Here's what this myth actually teaches when you strip away the romantic race narrative. Atalanta never wanted to marry. She was forced into creating the contest. She designed it to be unwinnable so she could remain free. She killed dozens of men to maintain her independence from a society that demanded she submit. When Hippomenes cheated with divine help, she had 2 choices. Keep running and win, and kill another suitor. Or stop and accept her fate. She stopped. She picked up the apples. She let him win. Maybe the magic forced her. Maybe she chose to finally stop running from the inevitable. Either way, she lost her freedom the moment she married. And then she lost even her human form when the gods punished her for a crime they caused. The myth of Atalanta is not a love story. It's a story about a woman who fought her entire life to stay free and lost anyway. This video was created combining deep research into ancient sources with AI-assisted visual production. For more mythology exposing the truths beneath the legends, check the description below.